Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something pretty specific, thanks to a listener suggestion.
Oh, yeah. What have we got?
It's about the Pop brothers at law. We've got a summary here from Nug Notes focusing on their, well, very direct hashtag STFU legal advice, especially in California.
Ah, the Wasserman brothers. Yeah, they've made quite a name for themselves, Craig and Marc.
Exactly. And our sort of mission today is to unpack how these two, who started out on pretty different legal tracks, ended up being such big voices in cannabis rights education.
It's a fascinating story, actually. You've got Craig, admitted back in '87, more the traditional law firm route.
Right, established.
Then Marc, he comes along later, admitted '96. His entry into criminal defense basically lines up with Prop 215, starting the whole medical cannabis thing in California.
And wasn't he an actor, too?
Yeah.
Like a child actor?
Yeah, that's the wild part. He was on She Chips way back when, so definitely not your typical lawyer background for him.
Definitely not. So, different paths, but something must have brought them together on this specific issue, right?
It seems like the big turning point was a family incident in 2008.
Okay.
Craig's son, Jerett, people might know him as J. Cures from West Coast Cure, he got arrested on cannabis charges.
Okay. That makes sense. So it became personal.
Very personal. And the advice they gave him, the advice he followed, was that now infamous phrase, "Shut the fuck up."
Seriously. That was the core advice.
That was it. And because he stayed silent, completely silent, the case against him got dismissed.
Wow. So it worked. Like, really worked.
It proved the point, didn't it? Silence is a shield. That experience seems to be the real seed for everything that came later.
So fast forward a bit, 2015 or so.
Yeah.
How does this turn into a public thing?
Well, apparently it was Jerett, the son, who pushed them onto Instagram. Suggested they use social media.
Which is kind of surprising for, established lawyers at the time.
It really was. But they started doing these hashtag STFU Friday videos, just
Yeah.
raw, direct legal tips, no fancy production.
Just telling people their rights.
Exactly. And that style, that no-nonsense approach really connected. Then Snoop Dogg reposted one of their videos.
Oh, okay. That's a game changer for visibility, surely.
Huge. Suddenly they're reaching a massive audience, especially within the cannabis world.
And that's where the script comes in, the one they're famous for.
Yeah, the 5 points. Super simple.
Can we run through it? It's pretty memorable.
Sure. First, officer, why did you pull me over? Keep it simple.
Okay.
Second, I'm not discussing my day. Don't volunteer anything.
Right. No small talk.
Third, am I being detained or am I free to go? Establish your status.
Crucial question.
Fourth, I invoke the Fifth. That's your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination.
The big one.
And finally, number 5, shut the fuck up, T. Just stop talking.
It's incredibly blunt, but memorable, like you said, almost sounds too simple to be effective in a legal sense.
Well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? In a stressful situation, simple is good. It cuts through the panic, gives you something concrete to rely on. It basically stops you from accidentally talking yourself into trouble.
Which happens a lot, I imagine.
More than you'd think. And what they did, effectively, was democratize this basic legal protection.
How so?
They made it accessible, not just for people who could afford lawyers, but for the everyday person, especially as the source notes, the trappers, drivers, and patients, people often interacting with law enforcement over cannabis.
So turning legal jargon into, like, street smarts. Survival skills.
Pretty much. And they didn't just stay on Instagram, they became fixtures, podcasts, dispensary openings, 420 events.
Right, they crossed over into the culture itself?
Yeah, consulting with artists, athletes. They became trusted figures, not just online personalities.
So it's really more than just a slogan, isn't it? It represents actual practical help during a complicated time for cannabis legality.
Definitely. It's boots on the ground stuff. Defending growers, drivers, entrepreneurs caught in the legal gray areas, their work is tied directly to the fight for legalization and protecting people within it.
That quote from Craig really sums it up, the one about handcuffs.
Oh, yeah. You can't talk your way out of handcuffs, but you can STFU your way out of jail.
Stark, but powerful. It frames silence as self-defense.
Exactly.
So, wrapping this up, the Pop brothers essentially weaponized simple, direct advice and social media to empower individuals caught in the complexities of changing cannabis laws.
That's a good way to put it. They saw a need and filled it with something incredibly direct and effective.
Which leaves us with something to think about, maybe for you listening. Given how powerful just being silent proved to be in these legal situations, are there other parts of life where maybe, just maybe, saying less or being more direct could actually be more protective or beneficial? Something to chew on?